Hi knitters, welcome to PJ Knits. My name's Penny. I live in Central Illinois and I'm a knitter, a blogger, and a YouTube podcaster. Welcome to those who are returning and welcome back. Reverse that, right out of Willy Wonka, right? Anyway, welcome to everybody who's joining me today. This has been a frustrating morning for podcasting. The iPad is just not wanting to video, so I'm playing around with the phone. The lighting is cruddy. I've got my ring light on, and oh my gosh, just one of those days. So, but let's get into other things. The weather. I mean, it's rainy all day, but you know what? There's nothing better for a rainy day than, getting out your favorite fall mug and a hot cuppa or a pot of coffee and just kicking back. And this afternoon, I'm going to catch up on my podcast, and I'm going to knit. And I'm going to order some things, I think. Just a generally wonderful day is what I'm going to have. So we're not going to let any of that bother us. Weather report, it's going to rain today in Central Illinois and tomorrow. And it's, 50-ish. Oh, there goes a squirrel outside down the porch, where I normally would be sitting if it was nicer outside, just for fun. And so I know those days, squirrel moment, right? It was a squirrel moment. Those days are kind of sort of over, but I did get to sit out yesterday morning, wrapped up in my knits and wearing my mitts and wearing a sweater that I finished, my Burma Basic 18. And so it just had a really good, nice Sunday morning out on the porch. So rocking chairs are not put away yet, but you know what? They will be. But I keep thinking if I wrap up in enough knits, I can go out and enjoy the time. So anyway, that's kind of sort of the weather report for Central Illinois. It's going to get chilly later this week, but next week I hear it's going to be a little bit, warmer again. So we cannot complain about this 50-degree weather here in Illinois. I remember 49 years ago when I got engaged right before Thanksgiving, we had a major snowstorm. I remember that because I sent off my ring to Peoria to be sized because I wanted to show it off on Thanksgiving. And it didn't get back because of this major snowstorm. And Bob, my fiance at the time, got stuck in Peoria from work, couldn't get up this hill that curves up to get home back then. So I remember what it was like, every time right before Thanksgiving, 49 years ago. I remember that. So anyway, I am not going to complain about the weather, but grab your knitting, grab a cuppa or a beverage or your lunch or whatever, dinner, whatever you're doing today, but be sure to bring your knitting along and let's talk about some things. So let's get started. First thing I want to talk about is the giveaways from last time. As you remember, it is, I asked for some comments, some help on naming my colorway that we did a few weeks back at Leading Men Fiber Arts that I got to dye. And so I asked for comments for you to give me suggestions because, generally I don't have a hard time coming up with names for the podcast and other little things, but I was having a hard time with trying to come up with a colorway name because, I just couldn't come up with them. There's so many directions I could have taken, right? And so I asked for your suggestions. And what I did is I just took all of the comments from last time and did a random number generator and came up with the winner of a Sandy bag. And again, if you've been watching other podcasts, you will know that Sandy is the maker of these bags, a peach of a lady, a good friend. Met her at Mini Meetup many years ago and continue to be, she comes to Makers Meetup and I see her on Tuesday nights on the Dude Knits Zoom. And so I just love her to death. So thank you, Sandy, for always supporting all of the podcasts with these bags. We truly do appreciate that. So this is the one. It has a vinyl back, vinyl bottom. Slow it down, Penny. A vinyl bottom. And these cute little sheepies on it. And a nice, I love this. This will go over your shoulder if you're going to knit group or whatever, and has that lovely inside and the pocket as well. So anyway, what I did is a random number generator for this particular bag. And the winner of this is Tina Carter 7282. Now, Tina, if you will send me your, I assume your full name's Tina Carter, but if you will contact me in one of three places, PJ Knits 1 on Ravelry, PJ Knits on Instagram, you can private message me, or you can email me at pjknitspodcast@gmail.com. Send me your full name and your address, and I will get your bag out to you in the next week or so. So then I decided to take the names that I was leaning towards, and there was about 8 or 10 of them I was leaning towards, and the thing was, I was trying not to, I couldn't decide. There was too many. I was trying to, keep the Caribbean theme in there, and all kinds of things. There were so many thoughts. And so what I did is I took those 8 to 10 that were like, okay, these spoke to me, but I can't choose. And I put them into random number generator this morning and decided to draw for another bag. And the winner is Friends Day Out. Isn't that perfect? It was a perfect name that just popped up. And so Wendy Morris, if you would contact me one of those other 3 ways with your address, I will get your bag out to you. And this is it, a very fall bag, but also spring flowers, and has this lovely vinyl bottom, has a little embossed on it. And then the inside, you will not lose anything in it. Has this wonderful inside, this lovely orange. Oh, I like this, right? Look at that. So bright and brilliant. I have to go that way. And it has another one of the lovely pockets in there. So anyway, this is for Wendy Morris. And I have now come up with thankful to Wendy for Friends Day Out. And that is going to be the colorway name. I have 2 skeins and I do not know what it's going to be. I'm doing a swap, and I thought that I would do one of these in my swap, and then I had so many yarns to choose from that I did not. So I have 2 of these that's going to be something, and I don't know what. Something in the spring, maybe something when I go to Florida next year. I'm not sure what that's going to be. So that is our giveaways for this time. Thank you, everybody who commented. I truly do appreciate that so much, your comments. Now, next up, we're going to do a knit along kind of update and where we're at with some of these things. And the first one is the Better Than Fiction MKAL by Knitters Brewing Company and Chit Chat Knits, Darcy. And this is what the cover page looked like. It was a mystery knit along that went and ended. The last clue dropped a week ago Monday. And I have to say, there are some lovely shawls out there. Check out Darcy's Ravelry Group to see some of the finished objects. I will say that mine is not complete. I have had squirrel moments with my knitting. I want to be knitting, and I know I'm not alone. I want to be knitting all the things, and it seems like I have been. And so I have not finished mine. I had to rip back clue 3, so I'm still on clue 3, but I'll give you a little progress report as to where I'm at on that, and I'm going to work on it some more, but here is mine so far. Oh, that's a good view. I love this after I got into it, and this is what I had to rip back because I was off, and I thought I could make it work, right? And I'm like, you can't make it work. So I just ripped it back out. So anyway, that is the Better Than Fiction. And I will say, for those of you who are knitting along with me, please post your project page, finishes or even in progress in the PJ Knits Ravelry Group thread, because I would love to see them. And I'm going to leave it open until the 30th of November through the end of the month for those. And then I'm going to pick a little prize, a little pattern prize of your choice from that thread. So on Ravelry under PJ Knits, that is where the group can be found. So that is where I'm at that, and I am going to work on it. And maybe I'll even work on it during Thanksgiving holiday. That week is kind of slow, other than, doing some cleaning here for me. But anyway, please continue to knit along with that. I love this this knit along for just the pattern in itself as well, and because it also all the proceeds of the pattern sales went to Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, sorry. And I am so pleased, that small children are going to get a book a month. It warms my heart to see people reading. I do love to read too, and that's another thing. That's another thing I want to be doing. As a crafter, you want to do all the things. I know that I'm not alone on that. So that is the Better Than Fictions knit along and the progress. And then I won't really talk about it again until maybe the new month in December, but please post everything in the Ravelry group by the 30th of November, if you would. So next up is the Hap-A-Long. I'm not going to mention it anymore either. This goes through the end of the year. Please post in the PJ Knits Ravelry group, the Hap-A-Long. We started that back on January 1st at midnight, and many people have finished theirs and in different forms and have posted that in the Ravelry group. So we would love to see that as well. And then at the end of the year, there will also be a prize that I will draw from all the posts on Ravelry. So I'm just going to give you a heads up on mine. Here is where I am at. I work on this mainly on Sundays. I call it Happy Sunday. And so I have just finished the first repeat of the border. And so I have to start now on row 3 and go from 3 to 30 and do one more of that repeats that is from here. And then it has another border that you put on the end. So I'm on track to finish this for sure, and I'm having a whole lot of fun with this on Sundays. It is the Hansel Hap, full hap, the large one from Gudrun Johnston. And the yarn is from Lost City Knits. It's a discontinued yarn that I have had for some time. And in apple green, I can tell you that. And then some other colorways. My inspiration was a picture that of a drone picture that somebody took on Shetland of the beach and the browns and the greens and the creams and the sand and the water. And so that was kind of sort of my inspiration for that. And I wanted to do a large one because I wanted to make sure that that it covers me and it can go as a travel project if I want to. So that is the Hap-A-Long, and that will go through the end of December. So post your pictures maybe by the 1st of January in Ravelry, and we'll have a little giveaway on that as well. So that is the Hap-A-Long. I'm not going to mention it anymore until the 1st of the year when it wraps up, just because so many of you have completed it or moved on to other things. And then next up, pardon me while I go back to my stuff, I had intended on having it sitting right here when I was in another position and the light was thing. So anyway, I have buried this one for the moment. Not really buried it in my box, let's put it that way. And if you all were with us several years back, we were doing the Burra Cowl was a knit along that started at a mini meetup. And I am finally finishing mine on track. I am doing something called #Fiber Fridays. And what that is on Fridays, I work on a different fiber. I am going towards we've talked about this, towards the woolly wools, the toothy wools, and some color work, some Fair Isle in gearing for something that I want to knit come the 1st of next year. But Burra Cowl came from the Shetland book from Marie Wallen. That's where I purchased the book many years ago, but now you can buy the pattern on Ravelry, and it is the Burra Cowl, if you remember this one. So this is another, a kind of a knit along, the Fiber Fridays on Instagram, and James from Dude Knits is knitting a fantastic hat, and I'm sure he's going to show it real soon in its completed form, because you know he's a dynamo when it comes to, or dynamite when it comes to knitting, getting on a thought plan, and it's really going to be super cool when you see it. So here is the Burra Cowl, and this is several years back. Mine has been on the needles, but I have pulled it out once again because I want to finish it by the end of the year. Now, those of you who we've been together on our Zoom or other places will know that this has been fondly known as that damn cowl or that damn knit, because I've done considerably much of it. I have done 3 repeats. I do believe I'm ready to start the final repeat. And I have been pushing and shoving this along for 3 years, let's say. 2 years, okay. Well, it would be 3 years in January, right? I think. Anyway, more than a year, more than 6 months. Anyway, I was knitting this and I stopped and picked it back up. And you can see I steamed it here. This is back when we last talked about it, you know, a year or so ago. I steamed it, and now you can see how it's not as nice as it was. This is unsteamed. But the moral of this story, and the reason I want to bring this up, is because I want to finish it. I am going to finish this because I'm prepping for the new year to start another a color work project. And so I'm prepping my hands to do that. I had an aha moment last week. I had this because I'm such a loose knitter. I took it back to 3 repeats around, and I am on a 16-inch needle. The nature of the yarn, the Shetland, Jamieson's Shetland, is what I'm using in the colors that Marie Wallen chose for hers. It's a lot of pushing and shoving. And when you have issues, arthritis issues in both hands at the thumbs, it kind of irritates the whole hand. It also, it drags, it wants to drag. And so I had this aha moment last week. Why don't you try putting it on double points? I am a double point needle person. I do my socks in double points. I do decreases in double points as well. So I don't mind double points at all. And I put this on my double points. They're size 3, yes, size 3 from Knit Picks. And I really had that aha moment. It was like, wow, this makes all the difference for me in loving this more. You know, part of the problem with this is I love the color work. I love doing it. But some of the motifs, Marie will do 2 colors in one row, and then the next row she switches those all out. And so then you get all these loose ends and, you know, gaps at the beginning. And so that was kind of an irritant with me. And but now that I put it on the double points, I'm liking it a lot more. And so I'm kind of anxious to get this done. And so what I've been doing on Fridays, part of my Fridays, is I've been knitting on this, making concerted effort to do Fiber Fridays, to change up my fibers from the normal soft yarns or cottons or all the other things. So I am ready, I do believe. Well, I want to say I'm almost ready for the final repeat, I think. Getting close, if not ready. So that is on Fiber Fridays, and I am hoping to have this completed and have the Burra Cowl knit along for me put to bed once and for all. So that's the knit along there. And then finally, to just circle back to knit alongs, I wanted to share a knit along that we're going to start on January 1st on the PJ Knits Zoom. And this came about from Cheryl, who said, hey, how about doing some sort of knit along for our Saturday night Zoom? And so we are going to do that. And we're going to do it on January 1st is going to be the cast on. And we kicked around some patterns. And it will be, as I said, on Zoom, on the PJ Knits Zoom platform. I'm still vacillating on the time, either 1 o'clock Central Time or 6 p.m. Central Time. I'm kind of vacillating on that. I'm thinking 1 o'clock Central Time, Illinois time, just because if you're one of those people who have to go back to work on the 2nd, maybe you know, after a week of holiday things, or people are still there, you might want to just rest at night. I'm also thinking 6 p.m. because maybe you just a couple of hours to, you know, just to shift down and get ready for what's next. So I'm still on the fence. I'm leaning towards 1 o'clock, but I will solidify that down the road. So anyway, we finally decided on 2 patterns, and I have decided to call this knit along Unite, because both of them have Unite in them. And I think given you know, just the state of things in general, that it would be nice to do a united effort for a knit along on the PJ Knits group Zoom. So the 2 patterns that we have chosen, first up is Vertices Unite. I've had that on my list for some time. I even picked out the yarns probably during COVID, probably cast it on, probably cut bait on it, and I still would like to knit it. And we were looking at some last week while on Zoom, and there's this chroma from Knit Picks that is unreal. And so I'm just not sure what I'm going to knit mine out of yet, if I'm going to go to PYS or not. But the first offering is Vertices Unite by Stephen West. Large or small. And so we're kind of, this is number 1. You can choose what you decide. It's up to you. But then some others also decided that they liked his Textures Unite. And this is not a great rendition of the pattern, but here we go. And so it's going to be Textures Unite and Vertices Unite. And we will cast those on January 1st at some point in time. Now, if you cannot make if you cannot make the Zoom, whenever we decide on what the timing is going to be on it, feel free to cast on and come back the following Saturday night and show us what you're knitting on. I will open a thread up towards the end of the month, 1st of next month, on the knit along in Ravelry, and so then you can join in there, show us your color choices, talk about what you're thinking about knitting. So we'd love to have you join us on our Saturday night Zoom. The link and the information is in the PJ Knits Ravelry group. I believe it's in the header. We have a wonderful group of friends from all over that we are forming great friendships with. And I am truly, I have said this before, between my friends here locally and Saturday night group, they are lifesavers for, you know, somebody who lives alone now. So, and we have a great time. We enable people. We do not talk politics or religion. We kind of ink towards that a little bit, but we steer back from it. We have a lot of fun. We laugh. We commiserate with people, and we are there for people. And most of all, we enable you as well. And so we would love to have you. We talk about all kinds of things, including the knitting. So, okay, I'm just going to take one moment here and hopefully I don't mess this up, but I'm going to bring my box forward. One of the super cool things that happened this morning with all the technical issues I was having is I discovered how to podcast record on my phone. And I discovered how I could pause it in a video so that so you didn't have to see me bringing all this stuff forward. So another bright side to the day for sure. Mail call. Let's talk about mail call. First up, I want to talk about something that came out a few weeks back. It is the new version of Knitting Around. Now, you will know from past episodes, or if you're new, you will know now. I became the knitter I am today. I truly, and I'm not just blowing smoke here, but I became the knitter that I am today because I found Elizabeth Zimmerman and then ultimately Meg Swanson and Knitting Camp. They both. My first knitting camp told me right from the get-go that I could knit anything I wanted to fit, and Meg gave me the tools to do that. Elizabeth, before that, 37, 38 years ago, I found her on, what we were calling regular TV, PBS. And so I really became the knitter I am through them. Yes, a lot of transitions through classes and other things, but they really gave me the thought that I could knit anything and to motor on. But anyway, so I attend knitting camp. Love that. We didn't get to go last year, but I love that. It is a great place for me, and I've learned a lot there too. But anyway, Schoolhouse Press puts out books with knitting designs for them, and they have been reimagining, redoing old editions of books that have been done by Schoolhouse Press that were geared Elizabeth Zimmerman, a lot of them. And so this one is the newest rendition of it. It is called Knitting Around by Elizabeth Zimmerman. Just received it from Schoolhouse Press. And I will tell you this, I am a collector of books. I love knitting books. And so here is the book, the new one. And so I love when they redo a book, they bring all of the things that were in the old edition, but they add other information, maybe some color pictures of garments that are in the book. They update it. I guess that's where I was going, and give color pictures that were not necessarily as well as the original, for sure. And plus then we'll add some changes that may have been made to the pattern as well, right? Updating it somewhat. So this is the latest mail call that I got. And so just because I want you to know how much I appreciate that, I have the original Knitting Around and have knit quite a few things in that, got a lot of inspiration from that. And again, this all black and white back in the day, right? But I love, she has digressions in each of them and talks about the patterns, all of the information, and really just gives some little digressions, some life history of Elizabeth. And, let's just say there are some color pictures in here in the middle of a spread, some that her dad had painted, but it's just updated, okay? And so this came out, and then when at knitting camp, then Meg and Elizabeth, when Elizabeth still was alive, before first the book came out, they did a video on a DVD, and so I have the DVD, and I've also went onto the Schoolhouse Press website and downloaded. You can now stream it. So I have 4 versions of Knitting Around, as it would be, but I am a collector, and like I said, if they rewrote the phone book, I would get it and read it. So I just wanted to share that particular one with you. Okay, that is the knitting around. Okay. What else? Let's see. What am I knitting on? What has my interest? Let's start that. Just to give you a heads up on those things. I decided to do a test knit with Beth MacDonald Stone. This one is slated to come out January 3rd. It's going to be a wonderful sweater to take to Florida when I go in March. And it's going to be all set and ready to go when spring comes too. So I'm going to be ahead of the game. It's called Get Out of the Pool. And it is interesting. What was interesting about this is, I like to knit in the round, and my friends know that I dislike intensely sewing up. It's not a fave of mine, and I decided to knit on this to test knit it. And after I got the pattern, I found out that you have to sew it up. But so I will motor on as it will be to that. But this is the Get Out of the Pool that I am test knitting for her. And I am knitting out of yarn from my local yarn shop, the Fiber Universe. It's Araucania, Alsa, which is Spanish for sea plants. And my colorway is 103 Waves. And this is what it looks like when it's all skeined up. And I love this knit just because it's one you can do on Zoom. I can take it down to the Fiber Universe when I knit there on Tuesdays and Fridays, and I can talk and shop and whatever and put it down, and here it is. It's going to be a boxy sweater. I, too, am going to probably wear it as a vest, which is what this episode's really about, is vests. But I am just loving this. And it is and the intention of hers is that for yarns that like to pool because of the nature of the pattern and the garter, then it shouldn't be pooling. So that is a test knit, and I just have to share a couple of things with you. Kendra surprised me for my birthday and was here, and I got this. But first, coffee. And from Debbie, I got an Emma Ball bag. And so that's so cute that she had purchased while we were together at Elgin Knitworks, believe it or not. She's snuck that in, and it has, so I am working on that. And so cute. It's in my has little knit stitches in it. Isn't that fun? So that is the test knit that I'm doing for Beth, and generous timeline, not till January. So, but I'm working on it because I'm loving it. I'm loving to see how the colors kind of come about for sure. So anyway, so that is one of the many things that I'm knitting on, which brings us to the real theme right now of this particular podcast for this time. I'm calling it Vested Interest because I'm late to the party when it comes to vests for sure. I love vests. I loved all the vests that everybody had knit earlier this year, and the ones that are being knit now. And I knit one or two in my knitting life. They were out of I remember they had cables down the front. One was like a pea green, kind of sort of had some flecks in it. I outgrew it. No, I shouldn't say I didn't outgrew it. I lost weight and it just was not my aesthetic, so I gave it away. So I've knit a couple of them. Knit one for my father-in-law way back when too, but I hadn't knit any real vests until I did this particular one a few years back. This is Ouzo, and I'm hoping to inspire you all to be knitting some vests too, and I'll show you something my thought processes on, or future dream knits as it would be when it comes to them. But this is Ouzo by Baby Cocktails. I knit this several years ago. And when I knit it out of the Magpie Fibers yarn that it was actually designed in. We were at Stitches Midwest, and there was two places, I shouldn't say two places, there was two knits that I wanted to knit, both out of Magpie Fibers, and they happened to be there that year. And so I went straight to the booth and I picked out this particular yarn. Now, this is Ouzo. This is in my Ravelry Projects page under PJ Knits 1. All the things are there if you want to check it out. I'm just going to give you a little, it's very plain knitting, but it has these cool pockets. And then I just want to call your attention to what's on the back. Here, it comes across the back and the sleeve, the knit, the lace. It was a really nice lace to knit. I enjoyed it so much. I love the texture of it. It has these little bumpies on it. I believe this was Solstice. I think that's what the yarn was called. But I loved this little bit of lace was all it had to be, right? And then it had the same lace on the pocket as well. And I'll stand up so you can see that. But other than that, that's it. Just a nice, and it comes down over the bum, and I just really love this. A nice rib around it, a nice sleeve. I don't really use the pockets, but that you could. But I wanted to share this as the first possibility because this, I love this detail. And that lace was super easy to do. It was not a problem. It wasn't hard to keep up with. So anyway, this is Ouzo by Baby Cocktails, Thea Coleman. I really liked it. The next one I want to share with you. I had in PYS, and I bought it over at Le Mouton Rouge several years ago when I was when we first discovered that. And it was on my birthday weekend, and we had a group of us had a breakfast over at Cracker Barrel, and then we headed over to Bloomington Normal, and we went to Le Mouton Rouge, where I picked up this Rylie yarn. And so it's been in PYS for, probably 5 or 6 years. It's pre-pandemic for sure. And I picked up this, and it's been, at the time, I think I bought it to make some sort of shawl or whatever. But but I have plenty of it, so it definitely could have been for a sweater. But I had it in PYS, and so I got the inclination. I got the inclination that I wanted to use it for some sort of a vest. I have a shirt that I want to wear underneath it to get more wear out of the shirt besides the one time that I do wear it. And so I got the thought that I wanted to take that yarn and knit some sort of vest to go over the shirt. But I didn't know what I wanted to, what sweater, what vest, I guess, that I wanted to knit it out of. And so what I did is I swatched the Rylie. And so after I swatched it, I put the information in my journal, kind of to think about for a bit. I did it on a size 4 needle, and I measured it before I blocked it and after I blocked it, and put those measurements into my journal here at the top. And when I was done, I knew that this is kind of the hand of the fabric that I wanted. So I did my swatch first, and then I started thinking about vests that were on my list in my library that I had been thinking about. And so then I took those patterns and kind of put them into my journal, and I'll share them with you here as well. I'll share you the journal entry. here. And what I did is I titled them, and then I put on there, like for instance, first one was the Boardwalk vest. This was by Brooklyn Tweed. I've had it for some time. Couldn't decide if it wanted to be a summer top or if it wanted to be a vest. And so what I did is I put this into my journal, Boardwalk vest, and then I made notes about the pattern. First of all, it calls for a fingering yarn. The gauge on that is 25 stitches to 4 inches on a size 3 needles, okay? And then I took the pattern and decided, I looked at my after blocking as to what my gauge was, which was 20 stitches to 4 inches, right? So then I went and I took the amount of stitches for certain sizes and my gauge, and I looked at them, and I took, like, the first one was 196 stitches, and if you divide that by, you know, getting 5 stitches per inch, which was what my gauge was, then that finished measurement would be about 39 inches. And if I was using Rylie, this is not a fingering weight yarn, but I was using the premise that I wanted to use my gauge, my yarn. One of those things that I learned from Easy and Meg. And so I did that on a couple of sizes. So then the next one that came up was in after Riptide was the Riptide Slip Over by JST Knitwear Designs. This is Jennifer Shields Tolan. And it was one that Kelly and Noelle both knit last year. And so it was on my radar there for sure. And so I did the same thing with this particular one. This is the V-neck. I think this V-neck came later. The other one was a rounded neck. But anyway, I did the same thing with it, put it in my journal, and then decided, okay, one more, right? And the next one that came to mind that I thought that I might want to look at, and I know that some of you are going to be groaning. Here she goes again with this book, but 52 Weeks of Easy Knit. This has been the best purchase ever that I have made, because then I thought that I might like to do Kreuzberg without the stripes, just a plain vest to wear over this shirt. I thought maybe the striped shirt just needed a plain vest. So I did the same thing with this. And this is called Kreuzberg. This is number 39. And so that one was my third one that I put into, did the same thing. The Riptide calls for a DK, and then this Kreuzberg called for a worsted. And so I did the same thing with my gauge and the stitches for certain sizes. And I had other ideas about Kreuzberg, so I eliminated it. And then next up, I thought I really, Boardwalk wasn't doing it for me to go over this stripe shirt that I had. So what I finally decided to do was the Riptide, and I'm doing the rounded neck version. And I have to tell you all, I am loving this. I am loving this to death. I don't want to put it down. That's why everything else has been kind of pushed to the side, because I am loving this. Once you get the hang of that stitch and where to go, and it's just fantastic. I know now why others are knitting it, but I am loving this. This is my one of my faves right now. Now, when you look at it, and I love the construction of it. I know that Kelly and Noelle talked about the construction, but I am such a believer of this and the way that this is knit. I can't wait to sit down this afternoon and knit more on it. But here you go. And this is the back. I'm just loving everything about it. And this is the Riptide Slip Over. So a super, super cool pattern. Like I said, I can't wait to get back to that. So that's a vest that's like on my needles for sure. Some other things I wanted to share in the vest line, you know, just really super quick. Remember we had this discussion about this turquoise yarn, and I did indeed cut bait, right? And I have recast on the Volda lace panel top. This is all the further I got on it. I'll show you a picture of that. Took all of your advice, and I have recast that baby on. And just to give you a heads up as to what it looks like, another vest. So I have vests. I'm in the vest mode, right? And here we are. This is from Shetland Wool Week. I am loving that. And it's the Volda Lace Panel Top by Linda Shear. I'm getting my money's worth out of this year as well. So that is the vest that we all talked about some time ago that I am going to be knitting on. And then also something from this same book. If you have this book and are interested in vests, I'm going to visit this, but I have some in my PYS, some Plutalopi, which is an unspun Icelandic that I have had from Schoolhouse Press. I have multiple colors in it. I have some cream. I have a sweater in a gray. I have a denim blue. I have a lot, and that's a whole nother story. But anyway, I think this will be perfect. I'm putting this on my list for also vests to knit, and this is out of 52 weeks. It is Diamond Twill by somebody Gnana Pomeranke. I've had this on my thought process, and I can use my Plutalopi for this out of PYS. And the thing about vests is, if you knit them now for the weather that we're in here in Illinois, they're perfect for right now. And in the new year, when spring starts coming, if you've got some vests, before it turns really spring, you can throw on a vest. So here is this one. This one has a little bit of texture in it, and that's why it has caught my eye. I, of course, will make it much longer than is there. And I don't know that there's any bigger picture of that one. No, that's the extent of it. They use Plutalopi. The recommended yarn that's done this was Plutalopi. If you use another yarn, you use worsted or Aran weight. But yeah, 16 stitches to 4 inches on a size 7. You can't beat that one, can you? So anyway, I'm going to pull out some Plutalopi at some point in time and cast on that one. And also from this book, the one that I keep going back to around every fall, time and time again, is Kreuzberg again, because it didn't make the cut for Rylie. I think it would be super, super fun. Again, I'll show you this one. And this particular one is done out of a worsted weight. And I have these yarns from, 3 years ago, I think, in my stash. That were going to be a Harry Potter mobile, and I'm like, I'm just not a knitter when it comes to knitting those small things. I'm not crazy about them, but I had this yarn that I had bought, and it's Cascade 220 to make the Harry Potter thing, and so I think this is Kreuzberg. I keep coming back to Kreuzberg. And I keep, when I see the pattern, when I think about the pattern, I think about this Cascade 220. That just has to be it. Okay. And I'm going to show you the colors here. And there we go. And so this is going to be my Kreuzberg. And I'm going to use some stash yarn, PYS for sure. And so this is definitely one of those that is going to be knit up. There is so many more things out of 52 weeks of Easy Knits that I want to knit on. So I'm sorry that I keep bringing it back again and again. There's a paperback version out now, but this was bang for my buck for sure. And then finally, just to kind of round this back between MKAL and also MKAL Fiber Fridays in January, and vests. I've talked about this again from Shetland Wool Week. It is the Viger or the Vager vest. I'm going to have to figure out how to pronounce that. But this caught my eye even before I got the book. It's by Ella Gordon. And the front is different than the back. It is a steeked vest, and so I'm looking forward to doing that. And I got my yarn from the Knitting Loft. I got it a week or so ago. Did not think about doing it, getting it from them during their sale, but I was so pleased that they have it. I am knitting mine out of those same colors. It is a new yarn, Jamieson and Smith 5-ply Shetland. And here are the colorways. I am so excited about this. And my friend Rosie, hi Rosie, we're going to knit this together. Rosie will be done way before I am, because you know how I have squirrel moments for sure. But I'm loving that. And so that is going to be my Vager vest will be Fiber Fridays. And just to show you the other colorway, this is the one that, back here, that Rosie is doing. This colorway, which is nice too. I couldn't decide, but I thought maybe I'll just change it up a little bit. So that is kind of my Vager vest thought process. And then lastly, I have a vest again, another whip, an old whip. This one from Knitting Camp many years ago. Sally from the Rainey Sisters had this on, let me try hers on, and I fell in love with, it's a pattern by Carol Sunday of Sunday Knits. And this has been the yarn I've had since I came home then, many years ago. It is Sunday Knits Angelic, 3-ply sport weight. And if you have watched before, you know I was thinking about doing this in one of the Suvi Knits books. Was it Suvi Knits? One of her, a sweater out of hers. I was thinking of switching it out. And I made up my mind that I had to fish or cut bait on this particular sweater. And I decided I love this sweater so much that I wanted to not cut bait. And I'll find something else for that. But anyway, so this is in the ice colorway. This, much like the one I'm wearing, you know, one of those that is really like a cardigan. But this is what I recall when I tried it on, when I tried Sally's on. I love the feel of it, the lusciousness, the thing to just throw over you. So I'm going to continue on with this one as well. Again, Capture the Moment by Carol Sunday. And it's kind of hard to see on that. And do we have? Yes. Nope. Don't really have that anything. It has a motif on it. Okay. So it requires a little bit of a thought process on there, but I do want to circle back to that again in the new year. And I will, as I do always, in the next few days, I will link all of this information. So in the show notes, I will link it all down below in the description box. So you can press on the link and go right either to my project page or the pattern page, maybe the yarn page or whatever. So I will do that in the next couple of days for sure. So I'm anxious to go back to that one. I'm having so much fun with my vests and thinking of vests. So I hope that there are some vests out there that you want to knit and not necessarily just because I am, but if you'll let us know what you're knitting on in the vest category down below, maybe we'll check those out for different ones. So just let us know. And then finally, finally. My next episode, I think, will probably be maybe the first week in December. I don't know that I'll get anything for late next week, because next week is Thanksgiving, a week and a half away, right? So I don't think I'll have enough content, and I don't think there'll be a whole lot. I mean, you all will be preparing for Thanksgiving, probably, and so won't have the time to sit down and necessarily watch videos. I'm going to enjoy my Thanksgiving here. And I'm okay with it, everybody. I'm okay with it. I've already got my plan for Thursday, that I'm going to get up and I'm going to watch the parade. I'm going to have coffee. I'm going to make pancakes. I got some really cool maple syrup from my friend Kathy. And then I'm going to stick my turkey breast in the oven, and green bean casserole, and a gluten-free pie, and mashed potatoes. And then I'll watch the dog show. And then I'm not a football fan, but I'll probably, I cannot remember. Last week I said, and maybe it's Willy Wonka. I love the Willy Wonka, the original show, but I'll find something to keep myself occupied. So anyway, all of that to say is I probably won't come back till the first Monday in December. We'll see. Then. But just to round this out, that episode, I think we'll be talking about Advents, because we will be into the Advent season. I have several that I have two, the swap that I'm doing with 4 ladies, three ladies and me, and then I have the Woolens and Nosh one that I'm doing, and then I decided to do the Nana's Visit. It's a gnome, and I saw this come up on Instagram, which by Sarah Shira, and I'm looking forward to it. It's the first time. I have several of her gnome patterns, but I thought it would be fun to do. And then I turned around the very following, after I bought the pattern and a kit, that very following Sunday, Kelly and Noelle on Knits and Pieces talked about how Kelly talked how she was going to be doing it, and Noelle was as well. So it's going to be a fun time all together. It is called Nana's Visit, and I was super excited, and I got on the horn right away when I bought my pattern. Sarah had linked to some vendors, 3 or 4 vendors that were doing kits. And because I'd just been over to Leading Men Fiber Arts, I decided to get one of their kits. And so it came last week, and this is Showstopper. And I think this, as I recall, it is kind of Victorian Christmas, right? And so I had purchased that, and it came. Afterwards, when I saw Kelly talking about the kits that Timber Yarns had done, and the fact that Timber Yarns had included eyeglasses and some stitch stoppers, which I've not opened this one up yet. I'm saving it kind of, as fun time. Thanksgiving weekend, I'm going to roll these all up, right? But I bought their Ho 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 one in a little bit more Christmassy colors. And the thing that I loved about this, when I saw the kit from Timber Yarns that they were talking about, it comes with hot chocolate, and embedded in here is some stitch stoppers somewhere, and also the little glasses. And so I need the glasses. I saw where you could buy them. She gave a link on Etsy, and it was like you had to buy 6 of them all at once. And I'm like, I thought, and I can maybe manufacture some glasses for the other things. But I thought this would be kind of fun, to do. I'm just not sure. This seems a little heavier, but it says fingering weight. But I thought this would be fun to do as my first one and put the glasses on it. And I thought it would be nice to do a grandpa one out of this, that would be fun as well. So we will see. Anyway, this is Timber Yarns, and I know that this is out of Canada. Mine came before they were on strike. So anyway, all of that to say is that first, the next podcast that I will be doing, I think it'll be surrounding Advents for sure. I'll show you some Advents that I did before. I'll haul those back out for their yearly visit for all of us as well. So anyway, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much once again for coming back. For if this is your first time, welcome. We are so pleased that you are here. I can't tell you how much this community means to me. I am ever thankful for you. For those of you in the United States who will be celebrating Thanksgiving in a week and a half, I hope you're having you have a great Thanksgiving. If it is with family and friends, I hope that you enjoy that. Be safe in your travels if you're traveling, and know that we're all thinking about that, and we are thankful. I am thankful for each and every one of you. So until next time, knit on, everybody, and enjoy the weather, whatever it is, and drink some coffee. Until next time, bye. Oh, shoot.